10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3. We are live.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Varian Grant here, founder of IndieVolt Media LLC. Tonight with a special, joined by Randy Zimmerman. Hello, Randy.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Tonight, and no, this isn't Tuesday. Don't check your calendars. This is Monday.
Eric wants to know if you want him in.
Sure, Eric. He can. He's more than welcome for to come in and talk. This is a chat that was kind of asked to do and demanded to do, and I wanted to.
Do you want me to put it in the community in the clipboard or what?
Sure. Yeah. Again, I wanted to do this chat to talk about some things that have they've been going on for quite a while, but I felt it was best to maybe the things have been going on for a while, but they've recently started affecting IndieVolt, and I care a great deal about the company because the people who helped build IndieVolt from what it was 3 years ago to what it is today and can be in the future are starting to be affected by things. And I felt like it was in our best interest to make sure we have these discussions and we have these forums and these town halls. But I do want to tell everybody that please remember that these discussions that we're having, that the opinions you're going to hear tonight.
The opinions expressed in the preceding broadcast are not necessarily those of IndieVolt Media, LLC, its staff, contributors, or sponsors, not necessarily. Viewer discretion is advised.
Correct. And it is one of the things that I felt was very important. These conversations are very important to have as far as comic books are concerned in the creator community. There's a lot of division out there. There's a lot of hatred, and I mean, just so much of it out there right now that you really don't know. Sometimes you don't know who to talk to. I'm seeing people, and and Randy, we've been watching this for years now. But we've seen people. I remember with years ago, back in 2015. I watched the birth of Gamergate, which was happening over in the video game realm. Which there's a lot of crossover because I'm a video gamer, so there's a lot of crossover, and you start hearing stuff and you started watching stuff take place, and I remember watching people leave their jobs, quit, or get fired, and I knew back then it was only a matter of time before it would happen in comics, and it has, and it's affected comics right down from the mainstream down to indie. We've drawn these divisions because people take certain standings, be it because of politics, personal beliefs, friendships. They've taken these positions, and it's almost as if I've watched that over the last couple of years, and it's very consuming. I know that you took a couple of years away from the independent comic creation grind to do a paper. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Eric is in the green room. Luke Stone Studios says IndieVolt is awesome. Phil Locklear says evening, y'all.
Evening. But you did your paper for 10 years.
I did.
And
100 issues.
100 issues, and I remember
10,000 per issue. Yeah.
You do a convention.
You want me to let Eric in?
Sure, let Eric. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was here. All right.
No, I'm adding him now. He is there.
Evening, Garrett.
Good evening. Who needs their legs broke?
well, when I get up, I need mine broke actually. Maybe I can just stop hurting. It'll disconnect the nerves.
He just needs them to get well. That's it.
I was at Costco over the weekend, and I finally got my wife to allow me to drive a little cripple cart.
Mhm.
It was amazing.
Yeah, Eric, I those carts. I was in one 2018 from like November to like January, and I remember getting like I started grading them. Like, oh man, Home Depot has the best. They're faster. They're oh my gosh, and because the ones at Walmart they get so abused, you can't man.
Yeah.
But Home Depot has the best cards, the best. Um, Randy, it was we were at a Comic Con, one of your shows, your Flint Comics Con,
Right.
and I remember telling you, I said you got to see what's going on online, and I gave you a couple of different
Websites to look up, or
websites.
YouTube channels to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, and within about a week, you messaged me and said this, this shit can't be happening.
Is
And
this shit really going on? Jesus Christ. Are people really that stupid out there? What's going on?
yeah, and you wrote me back, and I told you this is what, and we really have been like caught in it. Eric Hudson, Dreaded Dinosaur, has been someone who, and Eric, my introduction for you is that you've been someone who has been a mainstay in the indie comic scene for for a very long time. But you've always been someone who has you stay in your own lane. You don't get involved in the drama and politics. But even you had to step back, and you were affected by things that were going on.
Well, it's hard not to be affected when you've got people who, you call your friends, start becoming enemies with each other, and you're like, whose side am I on? I don't want to be on a side. There shouldn't be any sides.
Yeah.
We're all in this business together, and it's spillover from everything else because everything is divided now, politically divided, religiously divided. Wherever you can find division, it's being sown. And like you said, Gamergate earlier, that was just like the tipping point. We had Comicsgate, and it looks like Animegate is going to be the next gate to open or close, or however the vernacular goes. There's just division everywhere, and no matter what stance you take, you're going to make enemies, and some really whack job enemies at that. So you really have to steel yourself, decide what your principles are, what you believe in, and just stand your ground. And I'd like to think that the people I'm collecting around me are all that type of person who's going to stand their ground, regardless of which side they end up on.
Right. I for me, being African American, I've witnessed the unfairness and the dangers and the just the general BS that goes along with being grouped into a someone assuming you are a certain way or you're going to do a certain thing. I also do not like the idea that I can fight hate with hate. Now, I'm not saying I believe in turning the other cheek all the time. I do not believe that. I believe sometimes you have to strike back. But and plus I'm petty. But I know the dangers of people saying, "Oh, you're a part of this or you're a part of that, so you're a bad person," or let me follow you around the store. And I say the reason I'm making that statement is because back when I was younger, one of my first jobs was at a retail store, and it was after 2000. It was after the September 11th attacks, and there was a high level of anti Muslim beliefs at that point. A lot of people were just angry, and I worked in a retail store that was in a area of Michigan that's highly populated by Muslim Americans, or people who moved from other countries here. And my boss told me, he says, "Listen." Again, this is me, who I've always believed that generalizing people is bad. Okay, I don't like it. My boss came to me and said, "You need to watch these people when they come in the store because they steal." And I found myself watching people when they came in the store. Oh, my boss said they'll steal. And I guess I thought in my head, oh, well, I'll watch them because my boss told me to do it, and he's the person that pays me, so I better watch him. And I totally gave up for about 2 months my own values, my own beliefs, because my boss told me to watch people that came in the store because they would steal. And when I realized what I was doing, I immediately I felt ashamed of myself. And I went to people that I knew. I had friends, and I still have Arabic friends, and I went to them and I told them, and I re-educated myself on what the problem was, and how and why I was generalizing these people. And I found myself now making sure that that's my number one. When someone tells me something now, I need to go get more information. I just cannot believe something just because you said it. And I trust your opinion. I trust Randy's opinion. I trust the opinion of a lot of different people, but I still need a night or two to sleep on it and do some research so I can know how I truly feel about it without compromising my values. And I don't think we have that nowadays, especially in comics. We don't.
Yeah, no, not at all. Whatever the top level emotional reaction is, that's what a lot of people seem to be going with.
Mm-hmm. Did I hear someone else enter the room, Randy?
Yeah, Rob is in the green room. He just put himself in. I can kick him if you want.
Nice to be welcome.
I am, of course, just kidding, Rob.
Yeah.
I know.
This is an odd moment for you. You showed up with no one mentioning your name.
Yeah.
There you go. Usually we have to invoke it 3 times in order to get you to show up.
Well, unless you're picking on Varian to make Varian angry, and I will show up. We can go ask a Twitter and a podcast what happens when you make me angry or you pick on Varian.
Varian's the one that started this, so I've just been letting him talk. So.
Well, I was asked to do it because lately there has been IndieVolt's been kind of roped into some things. We've always considered ourselves the neutral ground. We always, I mean, you guys know we talk. Matter of fact, we talk like we're doing now, offline. We'll make a stream room and just come talk to each other. And it's one of these things where, I think this is how we had a SJW/CG conversation. I think it was Rob. Was it Rob? Did you pitch that, or was it someone else that pitched it?
No, it was all Rob. Rob wanted to get people together and start educating.
Right. So
and you were there. I mean, you were literally in the room when it happened.
Right. So we did that because we always wanted to be the middle ground. Yeah. We're always like, hey, let's be the middle ground where everybody can come to IndieVolt and feel as if they get an equal shot. We've covered comics from every, like, you can be like it's right where I said, you can be a part of the Whisper Network. You could be a member of CG. You could be, we covered everything. And I want to always be the middle ground. And lately what I'm hearing is because we are the middle ground.
We are IndieVolt. We're not one side or the other Volt.
Right. But what I'm hearing
to push the indie comics and to talk about the comics medium in general.
But what I'm being told lately is that because we won't deny either side, then we must be the other. And
has someone actually ever said that to you about Comicsgate? So I've never been told that by Comicsgate. Not one person from Comicsgate's ever told me I have to pick a side.
Yeah, I've never heard that either.
I've never heard it. I've heard the other side that seems to have a problem with you, and the particular people who have a problem with you Also, I mean, the reason they have a problem with you is jealousy and something else, and I don't want to say the something else because it's not polite.
No, yeah. I mean, listen.
So we're hitting high numbers, numbers that nobody in the industry really wants to even recognize at this point. What's we're on the radio now. What's our radio number? Do you know, Varian? Can you say it from where you're at?
I can download an app that'll tell me. I've downloaded this app, and I'll let you know about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
What they are, but that is a good point. I never wanted to pick a side with IndieVolt. I think that IndieVolt needs to be neutral ground. IndieVolt was founded on the idea of it being neutral ground. IndieVolt was founded when they were just doing Gamergate. So we were, I had these ideas set up to push comics, neutrally. I didn't care what your divisions were, and that hasn't changed. You are still welcome to come to this show, come on this platform, and push your books.
We have Luke Stone just entered the green room. You want me to let him in?
Oh no, yeah, sure.
No, oh no.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we can come in. And anybody, guys, if you see the link and you'd like to come in and voice your opinion for a while, you most certainly can.
I was going to say the link is in the chat. You are welcome to walk in here.
Yeah.
This is a town hall forum.
I think that for me, being neutral has allowed me to, almost be a bridge, and to help educate. Hey, listen, there's not, I can tell a CG member, hey, this guy, I know they said he's a big time SJW, but why don't you talk to him? And that's what we did in that CG/SJW conversation. Everybody left that conversation feeling like, oh, there's humans on the other side. There's actual people over there, not characters, not cartoon versions of what I've heard. Those are actual people with feelings and opinions.
Yeah, that was a very good event. I was surprised by the outcome, and I was delighted by the outcome.
Yeah, we're going to do it again, but I also want to give credit to Varian. There's no other place that could have happened. And I say this repeatedly, and that's why I'm so mad right now. I am genuinely mad and wish I could pick the fights with the few people we know about. Unfortunately, our hands are tied at the moment that we can't publicly call them out for it because they deserve to be called out for it. To stop this. Half the reason this stuff happens is because you hide behind your anonymity, or you whisper in chat rooms and, oh, please, Varian, don't tell anyone that I said this, or please don't tell anyone I said this. And we all know and we all see you. And you're the problem in comics right now. The whole point of that show is we didn't want Ethan Van Sciver. We wanted people from Comicsgate, the people you don't get to see, and the SJWs you don't know are out there. A lot of people don't know. I have a lot of friends that are SJW, and I don't hate SJW people. Varian doesn't hate SJW people. Randy doesn't hate SJW people. We hate the rhetoric that both sides sometimes use. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate SJW people either.
No.
Yeah, you left me out too.
Well, I know people you too because I was on that show. I was on the show with both Randy and Varian when we said this recently. So I know you guys don't hate, but I figured you'd say it on your own, so no one would say that I was speaking for everyone.
Well, it's not. It's just like I don't. You have to do something especially egregious in this industry for me to dislike you. I might dislike your business ethics, but I don't dislike you as a person. And I think that's another problem is that we're starting to see people dislike people as like, oh, I won't do business with that guy, but he's a cool person. People are like, that guy is a SOB and he's a racist and his mother dresses him funny. And off of just which stance you take or who you tend to surround yourself with. But right now it's being said that if I, like, for instance, and Luke has made it quite known, Luke, was it this week or last week? Sorry, it's Monday.
We could go Sunday.
We could go Sunday. Luke Stone decided he was going to declare himself Comicsgate. And it was, I'm sure Luke had his own trials to go through once he made that, statement that he was going to be Comicsgate. But instantly, people started being asked, well, you know Luke. So what's your stance? Are you Comicsgate? Are you anti-Comicsgate?
Suddenly, he changed overnight.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I became a Nazi.
I feel like I'm getting left out because nobody seems to give a shit about me.
You're welcome to join in anytime, Eric.
Well, no, I'm gonna get there.
No, because I haven't gotten the hate yet. I had like one tweet that popped up during the Roddy Piper campaign. I was like, oh no, here's the start of it. That was also the end of it.
That's going to change tonight. You're going to have 5 people adding you to a list tonight. You're going to have tomorrow morning. Don't ever go near dreaded dinosaur man. He's red because he's a Nazi.
Well,
Like Red Skull.
Here's the problem. Now, you, Eric,
Yes, sir.
You were very early on. You were Comicsgate very early on.
Yes, sir. The Honorable Mike S. Miller brought me in
Yeah.
at New York Comic Con.
So yeah, you were in a Mike S. Miller video. You declared Comicsgate in the most gang-like way I've ever heard. And you've been, but again, this is you're not unfriended me yet. And I pick on you a lot about stuff.
Yeah, but I also get to give it back to you, and we're cool like that. So
yeah. I just don't understand what the well, I guess I do understand. I guess I'm just shocked at people's
We should throw some links to the people we know who are and see if they have the balls to come on here
well,
and speak their hate publicly.
Well, the chat's in the link is in the chat. Anyway.
No, I think we should actually send it to their messenger and say, why don't you say that publicly?
If they want to come in, I don't want to create any arguments. What I'd like to happen is for people to come in and just say, like, why can't I be friends with these people and run a network?
Well, I want to talk about the lies they spread. See, to me, I was misquoted and misrepresented and said that I did things that I did not do and was painted in a way. And look, I have nothing against Comicsgate. I've made that painfully clear. But I literally had people saying lies about me. That's not something – I say a lot of shitty things. I don't need people to lie about it. Just go to the record and find what I said and be upset about what I said. You don't have to go looking for it.
And that is true. I mean, you did one of the things that we caught flag for is that during a recent stream, Rob popped in and held up a sign that said that he was a Comicsgate ally. I started hearing at that point that Rob was clearly Comicsgate, which he says he is not. He denies being Comicsgate, but
Trying to do CG here.
but the other thing was that he had he was not just Comicsgate. I'm sorry, let me try to get up so you guys can hear me a bit better. But because we had allowed him to do these things on the stream, that it was almost an admission of the show or the platform itself being Comicsgate. And because we won't condemn Comicsgate, we won't condemn SJWs, or we won't condemn Comicsgate. We've chosen a side.
by association, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's very dangerous because guilt by association. Listen, that's how. That's not cool.
That's how the McCarthy era began. That's exactly what we're seeing in comics right now, where you're trying to force someone like me who's willing to stand up and preach, advocate, call it what you will for anyone in this industry, as long as you're not abusing people, being a two-faced piece of shit behind the scenes. And I'm pretty sure you guys put up the warning already, and if you didn't, we can go to my room and play it. But I'm so sick of this. I am so sick of people trying to start drama because you're not big enough in the industry, so you want to kneecap people. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You are absolutely a disgusting human being if you think that the way forward is to be a crab and pull people down and tell people who they get to be friends with. No one gets to tell me who I will side with. That's my choice, and fuck you, I'm an American. I'm never going to accept your social idealisms that I have to obey and follow. Sorry, my family ran from communism. I'm not allowing myself to be put back into it. And I'm not going to fall in line. I'm not going to be okay. That's right. I'm going to stay in the middle with Varian, and I'm not going to care who the fuck has a problem with it.
But
Shit.
well, I think it was Randy asked me, how long can you stay in the middle before they start pushing you to the other side?
Well, I think that's our job, though, now, is to stay in the middle and not be pushed and to say, fuck you to that side. It's just one side. Let's be honest. To be clear, and just for me, Comicsgate is not attacking me for not picking a side. They have never attacked me. Do I get the support from them? No, not really. But they're not attacking me.
Yeah, but Comicsgate is a whole bunch of individuals who just want to make good comics. We're not like this amorphous kraken of
you're not like
ideology.
It's not. Yeah, it's not an organized group or anything. It's just a bunch of people that kind of that agree in kind of this same vein, and it's just a bunch of people that are drawn towards the same kind of things: good comics, good storytelling, those kind of things. And it really is the people in the middle that I tried to stay in the middle as long as I could, and it's usually the people on one side that kind of push to the other. I've not had any negative experience with the CG community in the last 5 years of being somewhat CG adjacent. I know some people might say they have, but to be honest with you, it's all really kind of high school. It's like I call it like high school baloney, and that's why I just wanted to. That's why I finally just made the step and said, "Hey, I'm there." This last week has been the calmest week that I've had in a long time, not having to deal with some of the more political things in nature. And to be honest with you, I've snoozed a couple people on Facebook because of their passive aggressive post. They're talking about who they're talking about and what they're trying to say, and they're trying to do it without coming out and saying it. And so I just ignore that stuff, and that way I can be focused about making good comics. And that's really what the group that I've aligned with is all about, is making good comics.
Ralph Griffith really sums it up for me, and he says in the chat, "This is really juvenile to me. I could not tell you what my feelings are on that. So what if people have a different ideology? Are they creating good comics? Read them and support them."
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I feel about this.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bird.
it would be nice if that were the case. And it's funny, a buddy of mine, I don't have it loaded up. I wish I did. I will load it up, but I didn't want to post it today. But he took, there's a scene from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Will's father comes to see him and leaves. And at the end, Will, he's like, the hell with him. And he breaks into that, why don't you want me, man? He hugs Uncle Phil. And if you're a human being, you can't help but tear up at that scene.
Oh, shit, I cried.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll just show up on my feed, and that scene will play, and I'm bawling like a baby.
Yeah.
Every time you see it, you have to.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine did it today, but he did it and he used he put filters, not filters. He put letters over people's faces. So Will Smith was Indie Vote, and it was like, look, we're trying to help everybody. Why don't you want us? It's like, why are you yelling at me and telling me I'm trash and I'm garbage? I just want to promote people's books. That's all.
We're not just helping people, though. We are reaching a vast worldwide audience. Like I think before we come on the air that people don't realize our reach.
Yeah.
On this show.
The radio reach is massive.
And again, no one is doing what Varian's doing. I advocate for comic book creators in my own way, and I've done a lot. But Varian, I've always said, does more. Varian's reached a bigger audience. Varian is the definition with Indie Vault and Randy and Lola, has created a truly diverse network that people wish they could say that they had, and they're shitting on it. So it's like they don't want us to be together. It's like you want there to be drama because your life is so miserable. Look, I got enough shit going on. I don't know if you heard about this beer bug going around. We don't need your bullshit. There's enough going around for everybody. Why don't you just go to a hospital and breathe in deeply to get more drama in your life?
Mark Hodges says our show is struggling with that. I don't want to be on either side, but I want to see good independent comics coming out as well as good stuff from DC, Marvel, etc.
Yeah, I said it last. I said it on my the little show, the impromptu show I did last time, about 4 days ago, where I said
Actually, that was only 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay, I said
Yeah.
I talked to someone they didn't know they wanted to know why they couldn't be found on social media, and they couldn't find IndieVolt, and it's because you followed somebody or you put a blockchain on, and apparently that person either follows us or we follow them, whoever you blockchain, and now we can't see you either. And it's like this association stuff has to stop. We're a media outlet, okay? And by the way, we have a live show. People are going to say things that we can't control. Now, if you want me to go ahead and go get all the sweet tech that won't require to do edits like on the go, please send me a donation and I will put it toward getting those devices, some a nice size studio.
There's no way on podcasting that we could deal with a 10-second delay, dude. Not
No,
for very long.
No. It's
And we'd have people calling up trying to test it.
yeah.
I would just hold signs up all day.
Yeah, and again, it's live. We can't. We had a gentleman on the show about a year ago, Randy, who used a couple of other words that we were like, oh crap.
It was. Are you talking Heart? That was about a year ago. Yeah.
Right. Heart said some stuff, and you know what? It's live. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You're not sorry. It's not for you to be sorry.
No.
Well, yeah.
This
No,
program.
Yeah,
He's got his own opinion.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you guys don't understand that people say stuff and it's live and we can't control it.
Yeah. There was this whole war about not controlling people. Look it up.
And I think the minute we start trying to control people, we're going to have a problem. Now, the other thing is I want to talk about the second part of this is that who benefits from this division?
The people who are actively promoting their own stuff and trying to capitalize on it. Oh, look, I'm a white knight. I'm saving all of you. I'm saving you from Comicsgate. We don't want good stories. We want only these stories. Only these creators get to create. Only this short list. And everyone on that list is the one. The Whisper Network, notice that it's always their friends who get hired after they get someone fired.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that. Watch the money. It's always that. Watch where the money's going. And in this case, it's where the paycheck money's going. It's always about kneecapping someone so your friend can come fill in. And then your narrative can be spread. And that's what happened at DC. They were like, and they cut. Like, I guarantee you, if you look at everyone who got cut, and I get all the books that got canceled, I guarantee you there's a common thread there. And I'm sure AT&T said enough of your bullshit. Get it together, or we'll come in and we'll do more. Daddy got mad. And Daddy spanked him.
Mark Hodges says nobody benefits from this division in the long run.
Yeah, in the long run, no. I mean, who immediately benefits is someone who can make money off of the division or can increase their presence in the division. Eric, what do you think?
Well, I'd say who the largest benefit of it is the agenda, because it's obviously not making money and not making a good quality product. It's proselytizing and basically turning comic books into propaganda pamphlets. And a lot of, let's be honest, it's this creepy fan fiction, because you look at the characters that they're manipulating, what they're changing, and it's just like them. It's just like some weird masturbation thing that they're doing with comics.
Sorry, that's the first time I've heard Eric say masturbation. I need to click that.
But it's not only that; it's also happening in kind of even the lower circles. We keep talking about the main two, and like that's really kind of what sent a lot of people over. But you're starting to see it at even kind of like the tier right below that, and then even now it's really creeping into the tier right below that, which many of us tend to do our business in. You get people that, I think the reason why you got a lot of people that are punching down. They're trying to keep people from getting back up to their level, because I think they feel like when it's time for them to scout someone in that level, in that next tier, if there's more people there, they're going to get looked over. So I think I think what they're trying to do is suppress other creative types. Now, I just like to work with good people, and some of the most how do I put it without coming across as a real jerk? Maybe I'll just come across as a real jerk. Some of the best people I've ever worked with have been in the Comicsgate camp, and that was part of what took me over there.
Hold
Some
that,
of the most,
hold
some
that
of the,
thought for a second, Luke. JD,
Yeah.
thank you for listening, and catch your train. This will be on the Indie Volt network if you want to listen to the rest of it. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I'm sure
Luke.
Luke.
Sorry.
I'm sure JD will message me tonight and ask me what the hell.
Yeah.
What was his invite?
He said, "Damn it, my train is here. Good show, guys." So, thanks, JD. Anyway, go ahead, Luke. I'm sorry.
well, maybe that was a perfect time to cut me off before I said something super offensive. So
I'm gonna roll up that soapbox. I got soapboxes here.
yeah, well, what I was saying is like some of the best partnerships that I've had in comics have been with people that don't just identify as Comicsgate just so that they can try to make some money, but are truly Comicsgate. Some of the worst experiences have been from self-proclaimed SJWs. I mean,
So,
that's it, really.
That was a pregnant pause. Yeah.
you went Comicsgate a week ago Sunday.
Yeah.
And this wasn't something that, I don't think you made this decision as my mother would say, willy-nilly.
Nope.
This is something that you sat and you thought about, you considered. Did you consider friend loss? Did you consider
I did.
revenue
Actually.
loss?
I did. I thought about that a long time, and that's what kept me from kind of making the jump earlier. I considered, what connections and what like creative team members I might lose in the process. But at the end of the day, it was about aligning with people that shared my values and taking that stance. I know the closer we get to November, the worse it's going to get for people. People are going to start really getting entrenched in their political values and their political parties, and it's going to get crazy. And I just wanted to be with people that didn't want to worry about that and just wanted to make comic books. And so I did consider what I was going to lose. But I also wanted to make a point that what you can gain by making that stance is greater than what you lose by making that stance. Because I really truly believe that you're going to gain more by having that network and that community behind you than what you'll lose from the people who really don't have your best interest. They're only really working with you. They're really only supporting you because in some way you can help support them, or it can be reciprocal to them, or in some way by elevating you, they can elevate themselves. That's what I found to be the norm within the middle.
Daphne Lage says there is something similar happening in animation and writing fandoms. There's this weird purity culture wave really going out of their way to control or destroy creators through damaging rhetoric.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a big player in that is Sony, with a lot of their westernized edits of anime. They seem to be all lockstep on that side. And of course, we got the wonderful trend of artists who are like, this character is problematic. Here, I fixed it, and then it's terrible.
Well, I mean, and I want to get to. I glanced over. I'm away from my computer, but I glanced over and I see Scott Zambelli chimed in. Could you bring that up, Randy?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Says I currently have SJWs anonymously mailing Comic Cons to get me banned from future shows, saying I'm a racist and a Comicsgate supporter. Personally, I've never posted anything pro or con for Comicsgate, LOL. I figured out who it was, and they just don't like me supporting Trump.
And you're going to destroy someone's livelihood or someone's career because you don't like what they vote for. That just doesn't track with me, because here's the thing, guys, remember this. That pendulum swings back the other way really hard. And at some point when it does, it's going to be awful. And
well, I think that's something that's happening now, and this is why the rhetoric is really ramping up a little bit, is because of the events the last couple of weeks, because you're starting to see a direct result and a direct payback of this rhetoric from the left. and the numbers and the comics that are dropping so much, and DC having to go through and suffer these huge losses because of their that pendulum swinging. And that pendulum just might be starting to swing back in the other direction, and it's not going to help the mainstream. It's definitely not going to help the alternative comics, and it's you know, and it's making certain people overly rabid.
So if you're making a show, if you have a media network, what are you supposed to do? I mean, do you just dig in with one group, or do you can you? I mean, one of our mottos was we want to inform people, not influence them.
Want to educate them, yes. The one big thing they need to do, the biggest thing that they need to do, the two biggest things they need to do is make good comics and stop being freaking crabs and trolls. You need to dump the negativity, you need to go out there and show your stuff, show your abilities, show your skills, make great comics.
And don't limit yourself just because you heard something about this person. Now, I don't want to make people think we're just demonizing people who identify as being SJWs too. There's nothing wrong with social justice. I mean, if you like comic books, it's pretty much social justice. I mean, the characters are all vigilantes going around taking matters into their own hands. Yeah. What I'm saying is when you try to take someone's career or destroy someone's company, I mean, you know, there's that old phrase, you know, it's not business, it's not personal, just business. People are taking personal matters and using it to affect someone's business. And I personally take my business personally.
When someone is wrong, but they believe they are morally right, they're extraordinarily dangerous because that's zealotry.
And some people just need to stop and get an education. That's why we keep pushing on this show. Take a good look at what's going on and what's happening in comics and why.
Well, you know, Randy, I was going to say, Randy, you kept saying that, and that's what I did. And I now, you know, despite what some people might say, now I did, you know, besides losing a couple of kind of work things, and a couple friends, I did lose a lot of drama. Like a lot of that kind of drama stuff just kind of went away. And I think there's more of that, some of that fat being trimmed. But I really do think that, you know, that anything that you know, I educated myself. What could be offered isn't as good as, you know, it's like I'm holding on to those little things there. And when I really looked at my fan base, you know, I wound up realizing that 25 to 30% of them were all Comicsgate, and that those were the most active fans. They were the most supportive fans. They shared my material with more people, and that my fan base grew because of them. And I was like, these are good people. They're good people.
They're the folks out there that just want to be entertained.
Yep, absolutely. Without
having all of the doldrums of life coming up and slapping them in the face. Rob, go ahead.
Here's another big problem. So we did that social justice sit down, social justice warriors these were self-proclaimed people, mind you, that proclaim themselves these titles. We had the moderates, and then we had the Comicsgate. Comicsgate wasn't hard to fill. As a matter of fact, we had a couple extra for backup. Remember, Varian? But getting someone to come on the show that was a social justice warrior was very hard, because a lot of times they don't want to have a public face. They don't want to record a video because they know the things that they're going to say out loud are nasty. And when you get a screenshot of them, they instantly report you. They don't want to be shown in the way that they're coming across, because I think, honestly, and I'll say this, I think they mean well in their own head, like Eric's been saying. In their own head, they don't think they're the bad guy of what they're doing, because they're so convinced that they're so right, because they're worried about a president. I want you to understand this, everybody, and listen real hard here. If Trump wins, he's only in for 4 more years. You are literally destroying your reputation over something that will change. I didn't want Bush to be reelected, but when he was reelected, you know what happened right after that? It's what Varian just said. That pendulum, it swung hard back. So when Trump gets reelected this year, if that happens, a lot of you are going to make noise for about a month or two, and then all the businesses are going to see, well, this is what the American people want, and things are going to change drastically. Just be mindful of that, because right now, this race, it's not looking good for Biden. Let's just be honest. It's really not. I want you all to understand, Trump has a good chance of winning. You have to be mentally prepared for that this time. And don't tell me about your polls. Trump lost last time, too, according to the polls. And don't tell me he stole the election. You think that there hasn't been an election that's been tried to be bought and sold? Your child. All of them have voter fraud in it. All of them play dirty tricks. That's called politics.
Politics aside, everybody needs to take a look at the economy, and especially what has happened the last 3 or 4 months, not just because of the virus, but because of the economy. Folks, comics thrive, and it's a proven fact in history. Please go back and get yourself educated on this. Comics thrive during a bad economy. People want to be entertained by good, entertaining stuff. They don't want to be beaten over the head. They don't want to be preached at. They want to be entertained. They want to lose themselves in high-class entertainment obtained and now especially as cheaply as they can get their hands on it. So give that some thought when you're doing your comics. The next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, depending upon the economist, how long is this economy going to be before they can spring back to anything close to normal? People out there are going to be looking desperately for entertainment. And that's one thing that I learned when I was doing the Flint Comics newspaper. We were printing old comic strips. We were gag strips, 4-panel strips, old public domain comic book stories, and people were eating it up. I was getting very few returns back, and the few returns I was getting back, I was giving away at shows. The only reason we stopped is because Flint hit this little thing called the water crisis, and advertising dried up, and I could no longer give that paper away for free and afford to do it on my own. But in the meantime, I gained so many readers just here in my county of comic fans that loved that paper. I had people of all ages calling me, sometimes late at night, asking me where that paper was. So I can tell you there's nothing more rewarding than being read, and there's nothing that gets read more during bad times in the economy than the cheapest entertainment that people can find. And that's going to be that has the possibility of being comics.
You brought up something there, and earlier I had mentioned it, where the whole association thing. People are targeting a news network. That's what IndieVote is. It's a comic book news network. People are targeting it because if you look at indievote.com, our home website, look at the articles and tell me that we've never tried to push. The only thing that we've been dismissive of is the mainstream. It's called IndieVote. The people who want us to, if you go look at our website, you can see this desire to inform you, let you make your own decision, but to inform you. And anybody who says otherwise or try to group us in with another group or try to group us in with either side, I would say follow that and see where the heck it goes. Those IndieVote guys, they're a bunch of alt-right, or a bunch of, or even they're a bunch of super left-wing nut jobs. But then you find out that person has a site. They'd rather you come check out my site. We're so in the middle that, literally, like, we keep getting people from both sides, and we have to figure out who do we book for this show. Oh man, well, this guy is Comicsgate. Maybe I need to get someone who isn't Comicsgate in here, or maybe I'll book him for next week because I don't want them to start arguing on the show. But then we've had Comicsgaters and people who are not Comicsgate on the show at the same time, and they never bring it up, and the two people laugh and they joke.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you put humans in front of each other, they drop their bullshit.
Yeah.
They drop their rhetoric.
Meredith, we see you in the green room. Give me a thumbs up when you want to come in.
That's just the truth. When people see each other as people, again, notice tonight, it's an open town hall. Where are the people making these accusations? Oh, that's right. They talk shit about your site, and then they launched their own site and talked about how their own site's back online. Or they're out there hiding and not wanting to put their head up because they know they say one wrong thing and we'll be all on top of them. So they're hiding, quietly no longer posting because they know the jig is up. They know that we know where it's coming from. A lot of bullshit, not a lot of balls to step up and say it. Look, I have a problem with people. I come knocking on your goddamn door, and you know I'm coming for you.
And
All
that's
the shit that people talk about, I have never hidden who I'm after, and they know I'm coming for them. It'll never stop being that way. You got all these little cowards making up lies. You're pathetic when you have to lie to prove your point. I want you to understand that. Whether you're lying to yourself or to someone else, you talking shit about Varian shows that you're a piece of shit. Because he's the only person in here trying to help every single person that he can. And it is disgusting that you try to drive his name through it. Indy Volt's name. Is it the color of his skin? And just be honest. Let us know that's your problem with him. Because there is nothing you're saying that's true. Stop being a coward. Start being an adult and let it be his show. You don't like it, then don't tune in. Otherwise, shut up.
I'm okay with having anybody on the show. It has always been that. I have an open door. That open door has bit me in the ass a few times. More often than I care to admit.
Well, not everybody's going to be courteous, or not everybody is sane.
Right.
So.
Right.
I'm right here, Randy. I'm right here.
I'm sorry, Rob. That was not aimed at you.
we talk about people getting education, and someone who came in this industry a while ago and said, I don't know anything about nothing is Meredith. She came in, and I have never seen anybody in recent memory try to absorb as much of comicdom as she has. And Meredith, I think I'm looking on. Okay, I'm looking online, right?
She's good. To our radio listeners, Meredith is here also in the stream. So
yeah, Meredith, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry, I'm now looking on my phone to try to
find our numbers.
Well, I'm looking to find the numbers, but I'm also like it's a severe lag, so she just unmuted on the lag.
Oh, gotcha.
On my side, but
okay.
Meredith, you had to go get an education.
I'm getting an education.
And is it before you? I want to know if it's mind-boggling to you the stuff that you're seeing. Before you answer that, I do want to tell you, Randy, right now we are going out to 73,164 people.
We love everybody listening to us on the radio.
Hello, amazing. Japan.
Japan, actually, I can't see who's in here.
Hello to everyone.
Yeah, I believe that they probably are in here. I'll have to see if they'll show me those
few seconds in China before they pull the plug.
Yeah. So, Meredith, is it mind-boggling to you? Is it maddening to you to see the differences and the differences of just the amount of anger that's out there?
Truth?
Yes.
I'm indifferent to the drama because I don't know the history. I don't have history with people. I'm quite indifferent to it. When I see shady stuff, that's a personality thing. And I don't like it. And I separate myself out from those people. I don't associate with them. I don't follow them and things like that. Comics is an industry. It's a business. And I'm not new to business. So you're going to find that kind of behavior all over the place.
Your mic just dropped. You just muted yourself?
Nope, I don't think it was me.
Okay, wasn't me.
Not me.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how that happened. So I'm really indifferent to the drama because I don't have a history. I think that helps me see things with a different perspective. I'm a little bit more open to seeing what's going on without any negativity or even positive things. I'm just indifferent to it. Now, coming in brandy new, trying to create my own comics and stuff like that, I am in a position where I'm constantly learning. I want to know more about the industry. I want to know about the history. I want to know about the shady dealings and the thing. I mean, Randy, is working on like the history of comics. That is fascinating to me. But if we don't learn from them, we are destined to repeat those same mistakes. Is that happening now? I don't know. I'm not there yet as far as my education goes. So, but when I see people with passive aggressive behavior, trying to jerry up, trying to build up this drama, trying to make a tidal wave or a tsunami to take somebody out. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, and it's going to bite them in the butt. Because good people, they don't need to defend themselves. Okay? If you're doing good work, if you're putting out good product, you can stand by those things and stand by your principles and be an advocate for whatever it is that you're doing. Whether it's comics, whether it's business, it doesn't matter. You will stand on your own merit. Anybody who takes you down, then you start looking at, okay, what's the motivation behind it? Maybe they've got something to hide. So for me, it's kind of a personality thing. It's a behavioral thing. Motivation speaks to a lot of stuff that people do.
And I've thought about that. What happens when we why would someone come after IndieVolt? Like, we've done nothing to either side but try to support comics. I see I'm looking in the chat. Grandpa's Comic Con says, good podcast guy. Thanks for bringing this all up. You're welcome. And again, for the comic promoters, this goes further. They'll be, watch. You guys have seen comic con applications that say, is there anyone you want to sit next to? Is there anyone you don't want to sit next to? And generally, I used to think, well, that might be, I don't want to sit next to Megan Fox because, me and her dated in high school and I don't want her trying to get my number again. But now it's going to be that form might actually be used now, and to an asinine degree.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine.
That is the most childish thing I've heard, though, Varian. I've never seen that in an application, and I'll tell you right now, I take a show less serious than
I
had
would
that.
too.
There's one thing. There's one thing that Meredith brought up that I think is a perfect point here, is that this is a business, this is an industry, and too often people are treating it like they're a little club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether you're a promoter, whether you're a content creator, this is a business. It should always be a business, but people treat it like their little club. I've seen this with volunteers at shows. They think this is their own little private thing, and so they try to tell the promoter who shouldn't be let in, who's not part of their little clique.
Yeah.
And this stuff doesn't float in the corporate world. That's why, again, back to what Randy was saying about AT&T, laying the hammer down on DC Comics, cleaning house. Corporations, businesses, they clean up that garbage.
And don't think that's not going to happen to Disney too, because it's coming.
Yep.
They're way in the hole, and they're going to make up those losses somehow. And that crap usually trickles downhill, stream at a slow pace, but it's coming.
And speaking to, sorry, Rob, but speaking to that form thing that you're talking about, Varian, maybe the question should be: is this a hobby or a business?
And I also think that we cannot stress this enough. There are people out there trying to turn people against each other to have their bidding done. Like there's some sort of wizard in the background of Oz. Stop it. Just stop, because we all know who you are. And the problem is not enough people will step up and say enough of this type of behavior. We have to get to that point where that behavior is no longer allowed. Look, there used to be problems behind the scenes of comic book creators, but they never let it spill out. They kept it very quiet. A lot of times you didn't know, and people just walked away. Now they go to social media and try to get their thousands of fans to say something. And you have all these companies balking at the wrong reasons, not understanding that the squeaky wheel isn't always the one that's the problem. Sometimes you just have a wheel trying to squeak to get attention, and it's not really damaged. And these companies are starting to realize that, hey, the quieter group, like look at Trump. If you're going to say one thing about Trump, this is the truth. He shocked the shit out of everyone on election day when there were so many people that voted for him that they did not see coming, that the pollsters didn't know to even ask. We always are given the idea of what they want us to believe. We have powers in numbers that we no longer use because we're so divided. If we started getting together and actually having honest conversations, finding middle ground solutions, we'd all be better off, including in comics. If you put the worst SJW person who just absolutely hates everything about Comicsgate, and you put a Comicsgate guy who hated SJW, and you forced him at gunpoint to make a comic book, I guarantee you that comic book would be amazing, because they'd have to sit down and use both sides to create a comic book. It would be wonderful, because that's what creativity needs. Different forces coming together.
Daphne Lade says, I've only seen that who do you not want to sit next to question on FurryCon applications.
That makes sense. You don't want the dogs near the cats. You just don't want to do that.
Dogs and cats don't want to live together. No.
Well, no, I see it. It's constantly on a Comic-Con that I go to. It's constantly on their application, and I've never used it. I've never used. I did use it to say, "Can I sit close to this person?" But I never said I don't want to sit next to this person.
But doesn't that sound like a childish application, though? If you really, or if we're being honest about this being an industry.
No, I think it comes from the mindset of a convention organizer that wants to keep the drama down to as low a tone as possible.
He better add some more lines.
But also, if you're going to come to a con and cause drama, you should be kicked out day one. Look, you don't have to like anyone who's next to you, but you be fucking professional. I worked with people for decades I hated. They were my employees. I absolutely hated them, but we had a great working relationship because I'm an adult. I don't care.
Plus, I think once we get past this pandemic mess, that you're going to start seeing, you might actually start seeing some conventions that are specifically aimed at different crowds.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I keep saying that we are long past due for a really good adult Comic-Con.
Oh, that I'd been for. Yeah. Well, there is an adult event out here in Florida. It's not just comics, but
there's one in Vegas too.
Yeah, you guys can come hang out next August.
What do you guys think, though? Like, so I guess give me some advice. And anybody in the chat that wants to chime in, again, it is in there. But I see Gambler's Comic-Con says maybe I will have to do that with our upcoming chicken comic, Uncanny. I would like to ask advice for me. And I guess Rob, you have a network as well. Meredith, if you do work with I don't know if they want me to say their name. You do work with a company, Geek Insider, and how do we stay the course while being lumped in with groups or having insults or rhetoric tossed our way? How do we stay the course? How do we stay neutral when one side is kind of saying, no, you're with these guys?
Kill them with kindness, ethics, and doing the right thing. Never bow to them. Never back down from them. But do what you're doing. So what you're doing is amazing. And if you just keep doing what you're doing, all these little bucket crabs are going to all die because they're going to kill each other off. We see it right now. So if I named 3 names right now, they would spend the rest of the night attacking each other. If we just told on the show what they say about each other and what we know they say about each other. And it's only a matter of time till things get back to them that they're talking about each other. They'll take care of themselves. And for the record, there are some great SJW people who really believe in realistic ideas that can change things to make things better. I might not agree with their ideas, but at least they're professional, they're respectful. It's not everyone in SJW, just like it's not everyone in Comicsgate. And that's what we always try to say, but no one ever wants to hear that. They just want to attack each other because the minute you put a label on yourself, you are standing up for something, the good and the bad of it. And that's the problem with it. And that's why a lot of SJW people never take that badge. They quietly do the things that SJWs do and won't answer if they're an SJW online because they know SJWs have a bad tendency to overstep. They look at the Black Lives Matter campaign. Not the actual idea of Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the actual organization now. That's I think it's a tax-free domination. And read their rhetoric, and there's some things in there that are deeply disturbing to some people. But if anyone points that out, then suddenly you're this, or that. No, there are some things that are said that are just bad. Like destroying the family unit. If anyone has a disagreement about that, then we can talk about it all day. But that doesn't mean you get to call me a Nazi because I believe in family. Because I believe that my son should have been raised with a mom. I'm divorced. That did not happen, but I stayed in a bad marriage for a very long time just to give him a leg up, and I would have still stayed longer. But it was her who left. But I would have done that for him because I believe in the family structure.
Swinging back to your advice, Varian, Mark Hodges says, do what you want, Varian, and give the haters nothing. I think that's the real key here. We just need to do good comics and stop paying any attention at all to any of the trolls out there.
Yeah, you have to ignore the chaff. What they want most of all is to be given that opportunity to make an impact, to be a problem that validates their psychosis or whatever. And the best thing you can do is ignore them. And that's actually the worst thing for them psychologically. If they don't get that dopamine hit of causing problems, if you divest them of getting that, that's the best thing for you, the worst thing for them.
And remember,
Just so he doesn't get a complex, since we're talking about ignoring people and getting rid of the chaff, we're going to be joined now with Michael Oden.
What's up, Oden?
Wow.
What's up, guys?
You have something electrical going on back there in your background?
or a vibrator.
No, I'm using a new mic.
Vibrator?
Oh, of course, you know it.
Sounds like one. No joke.
Is that better?
I thought you were powering up a
Infinitely
Tesla coil
better.
there for a second.
Yeah.
No, I got a cheap headset that I could use to do streams and everything, and it's proven to be more trouble than it was worth.
You get what you pay for. Jinx.
Yeah, no, like I realized that it was just one of those things where I was like, fuck it, I've got $15.
Yeah.
Sure. And
You ordered off Wish, didn't you?
no, I didn't. It's literally just like a standard set of like headphones that's got a mic in it.
And not to cut you off, Michael, just to finish what we were saying.
Yeah, of course.
You were the one who told me when people were coming from me and they were spreading lies and Randy had the same type of advice. They're looking for me to make them relevant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have right now. You have people who want you to be relevant. Even us talking about it right now, they have a little smile because we're talking about them instead of other great comics. Because we have to stop our day to acknowledge that they're pieces of human trash. And every time we have to do this, we're not promoting someone. We could have someone on the show today with their crowdfunding campaign, helping them get closer to that moment. And where are these trolls? Where are these crabs? Where are they to defend their anti-Comicsgate rhetoric? They don't want to be on here because on a live video, they get tore to shreds. They can't keep it up because most of what they have is rumors and innuendos. And in the end of the day, it has to be, well, I just don't like it. Well, that's not good enough. When you're being in the center, it's not just good enough for you not to like something. When you see a guest you don't like, don't tune in. When you see a guest you do like, then tune in. It is that simple. You fuckers complicate life so horribly bad that someone like Varian's now stopping and thinking, well, how do I keep going forward when he was doing an amazing job? You're fucking up what's been working really well for everybody. That I hope you're happy because you're not just hurting the side that you think you're hurting. You're also now making Varian take pause and go, well, now do I have to worry about anyone who's on a friend list?
Well, I'm going to say this.
You're hurting careers with lack of exposure. You're hurting careers by making people choose sides and then realizing that they're not getting money. It's just infinite poison.
Now, I'll say this. So I think we've all, I think we've all in this room have at some point have had a conversation, most of us anyway, about who the people are that's coming after Varians, coming after Rob, and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, that one particular individual who seems to like to control things behind the scenes to get every people to make all these big moves for him, really all he wants to do, or she wants to do, or it wants to do, is, you know, this entity, this person, this individual, whatever you want to call it. They just want to see things tore down. They don't care who gets tore down as long as they are elevated. They want to take out the competition, and they hey, I'm the advocator. Well, okay, well, anybody else that advocates, I've got to take out so that I'm the sole and chief advocator. Everybody else that has a website that does this, well, let's get everyone to turn on them so that, we can have a website that does this and all that kind of stuff. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's high school. Number one, it's high school. It's petty. And if you worked harder and your quality standards were higher, then there wouldn't be an issue. You don't have to push down. You don't have to punch down or even punch to the side. We're all trying to punch through the wall to get to where we're going together. And it's counterintuitive to try to look at these smaller companies and say, hey, what can I do to cause trouble and disruption there so that they struggle? What can I do to cause trouble and disruption here? All the while just still trying to make yourself look good in the whole process. And it's just disgusting.
I had a funny thing about this is I'm a pretty bad Christian, but when I have questions of faith, I usually ask Eric and Luke, and these two guys are both Comicsgate. They're both out and out Comicsgate. And the other thing too, I want to comment on Scott Zambelli's thing about being called a racist and a bigot. Scott Zambelli, at a moment's notice, dropped what he was doing to come to my house and witness me and my wife being married because he needed another witness. He took a picture for his folder, his Facebook folder for the year of crazy things that happened. I think that if Scott was a racist, he wouldn't have allowed me to marry a white woman. He wouldn't have been like, no, I'm not signing that. Screw you guys. The other thing is, and you guys mentioned it. If you want to start, if anything's about, because you guys remember, I didn't know about Rob's site when I started Indie Volt. I had no idea, and I got told later on. I think it was actually Eric. You told me later on, like, oh, you mean like comic advocates? And I'm like, well, who? And I had no idea what that.
Yeah, because there was synergy there, and I'm like, I need to introduce these two people.
Yeah, and
we hung out at in Orlando. It was
2 weeks later. Yeah.
Brian or Mark, you are more than welcome to join the discussion. We have room here for 3 more people if you want to come on in. Come on in.
It was the and any other site. I mean,
link is in the comments.
We've had I've talked to Matthew over
Daphne. Same goes for you.
Yeah, I've talked to Matthew at Geek Insider. I've talked to Chris Braley over at Bleeding Fool. I think it's Braley. I had I'll tell you guys another. I mean, like, anybody's welcome, and I've talked about before. Hey, if I can get this person to come on the show, I can step back. And I don't have to do any hosting anymore. I'm very uncomfortable doing hosting, very uncomfortable. But I do want people to know that, it's never anything personal. If you need help building your site or advice, you can call me. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, that looks great. I'm never gonna, tell anybody not to start a site, not to revamp theirs. Rob does so much stuff. I'm like, man, I wish I thought of that. It's just,
and anybody wants to write us for advice. We're constantly inviting people to write in.
Yeah,
I'd be real happy to give advice. The problem is I give advice, nobody takes it.
Well, we were having a conversation just the other day in the in a chat, and we were talking about how look at the reach that a collective group can have. Meredith has this kind of reach, Rob has this kind of reach, Varian has this kind of reach, I've got this, Eric's got that. When you start to think about the connection and the community that you can build within the industry, wouldn't you want to link arms with as many people doing the same thing you are so that you can get in front of more people?
And
just
holy crap, right now, with the way that the market is, with the way the economy is, enough like-minded people get together and cooperate. Don't even have to be like-minded. Enough people get together and enough different directions get together and pool their talents, could rule this industry.
Yeah.
And everybody could be making livings.
Well, I just want to speak to motivation again. There was a time where I was hacked and somebody got into my accounts and they were posting bullshit stuff.
Mm.
Okay. And I basically went to my network who has seen my voice. They know how I talk, they know how I interact. And I said, listen, I'm trying to get my account back. You need to mute that person or tell them to screw off or whatever it is that you can do to silence them as much as possible. And some people were like, well, how do I know that you're not the hacker? And I said, all you have to do is look at my body of work and look at what they're posting right now, and you will see the difference, because I have a history of that quality. With Varian and IndieVolt, you have a quality, you have a standard, you are open to having these conversations and things. For anybody who comes in and attacks that out of the blue, when you've got this history, I'm like, do you know these people at all? And then consider that mouthpiece who's trying to tear you down.
Mm.
If they're doing it to you, they're doing it to other people. And if you're on board with them and you're riding his coattails or you're doing his dirty work or her dirty work, whoever it is, all right? If you're doing the dirty work for this person because they're a mouthpiece to try and tear something down, chances are they're going to turn around and do it to you.
That's true. And the thing about you said motivation, you start wondering, well, what is the motivation? I've never come out against either side swinging. What is the motivation? Like, why dislike us so much? And then that's when you start getting to the whole, maybe it's a racial thing. Maybe it's, I don't like it because I had one person who they reached out to me, asked me to do something for them. I said, absolutely, I'll do it. And then, very like without warning, one day I find myself unfriended. Don't know what I said, what I did, but unfriended and like all communication, all ties cut. Don't know what I said, don't know what I did. Maybe they finally put two and two together and realized that I was, the guy with that ridiculous hat on was the guy they were talking to, but it just seemed out of left field.
Rob's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, finish what you're saying. I can wait till you do.
It just seemed like it was out of left field, and I didn't understand why it was happening. And it's happened before. My wife just got a message on her Facebook a little while ago from a couple days ago from a guy who was outwardly racist, and it was shocking that level of racism still exists. Like, and to be open with it. Of course, the guy's hiding behind a fake name online, but it's still out there. And I hate thinking that's what it is. I'd much rather it be some deep, dark conspiracy to, observe some type of control over IndieVolt. But sometimes it just comes back to, why don't you like me? Because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm trying to push comics forward, indie comics forward, even when there are some comics that we have on that I'm not personally interested in, but I still think you have an opportunity. You have a right to go out there and push it to my network or to people, the group of the audience that we've built. Go ahead, Rob.
It's also like too many people play fucking video games apparently because they think that if they smash you, they become the next boss. Like in their mind, if I take him out of the way, then I'm just going to get that. Like what? IndieVolt gets awarded to you? You won the fucking internet? Everyone's just going to give you shit? No, you're taking
the fucking Mortal Kombat thing.
You're taking shit out. You're making it a problem where now Varian's not where he should be. Varian's not talking about someone tonight and helping their campaign because you're such a pile of human trash. Because you can't be a good person, and you had to make him feel bad for doing the right fucking thing. That's who you are. And I know you're going to watch this, and you're going to be like, oh, is they talking about you, about me? Yes. If for 1 second you think this is about you, it is about you. So you have two choices. Go the fuck away or grow up, stop it and apologize to Varian that way.
They're
Apologize.
also keeping Varian from creating some really great IPs and content for the fans out there, because what people don't realize is Varian's actually a very talented creator, and when he's not advocating, he's creating, and when he's doing this, he's not doing either one of those things. So back off, people, and let us get some good stuff.
And
Thank you, Luke. Checks in the mail.
Mark
Right now.
Hodges says the best response to your critics is to live and act well.
And remember, Varian is sick right now, still doing this shit. Most of you'd be in bed crying, not getting out of bed any day of the week. And he shows up every fucking day that he's scheduled. And if he can't, he reaches out to one of us to do the hosting duties to make sure the show goes on, no matter how he's feeling. And you have the audacity to try to attack him for being neutral. You're human trash.
He even come on today when we're not scheduled.
Because
He wanted to talk. Look at the feed he had on Saturday where he was talking about his problems and all the hassle he had to go through sick as a dog in order to try to get his point across to people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 20-minute lags of no voice and nothing. Dead silence on that stream.
Yeah. It's I don't want anybody thinking that, like, I agonize about stuff we do in Indie Vault. Oh man, should I really throw an article up there about Last Call Comics, which is my company? Because if I do that, then I can't talk about Dave the Supreme's new comic, who is in the chat. Hey, Dave. I can't talk about Luke Stone's new comic. I can't talk about Dreaded Dinosaur's new comic. And you know what? If there's people who, you've been at Comic-Con, you know who I am. You've been at Comic-Con with me. I brought you to your first Comic-Con. I've offered, a seat at my table, whatever it is. And if you know someone is out there saying things about me, about this network that, me and a lot of people on this board here have built, and that's not my character, shame on you for not speaking up and saying otherwise. Because you know who I am and how I carry myself in this business, and that I keep this company in the middle. Very, very much so in the middle. So much, in fact, that there have been times where we've been accused of being SJWs before. Yeah, but we've been accused of being SJWs, but it's so. And the question is funny too. The question that started it all came from an anonymous source. I kind of wonder, was it not a plan? Was it not a plan?
Yeah.
Well, if they're really interested, they won't be anonymous. They'll actually step up and ask the question themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like Rob said, we've had this forum open for an hour and 21 minutes. Nobody wants to come in.
Yeah, and
with an opposing viewpoint.
Where you at?
And so, for me, and I've talked to both Rob and I've talked to Varian about this multiple occasions, where I think the neutral stance on both of your guys' network is something that the industry needs. And I think that attacking Varian, attacking Rob, because they are willing to be these moderators on the issues that are in the industry, is ludicrous. Because the only way that we really have forward is through moderated discussion, where both people get a chance to articulate their viewpoints so that we can each grow our perspectives and move forward. Right? That's ultimately how this works, is you find somebody with an opposing viewpoint and you get to learn why they see things the way they do. And then you gain that bit of perspective, and it might affect you and help you grow as a creator, as a person, whatever. And that's how we move forward. And so to sit here and attack someone like Varian, attack someone like Rob, who literally any single time that I have hit any of them up about anything, and been like, hey, can I come on and do a bit on my show, on one of your guys' shows to promote my book, or do this, do that. As someone that came from nothing, I had a campaign that I launched too early, that I hadn't done promo for prior. We were dead in the water. And if it weren't for those two gentlemen in the top corners, I wouldn't have made it. Because that's where I started building my connections, is Varian Grant and Rob Anderson and Luke Stone. I owe my career in the industry to these people. And I don't give a shit what flag they end up flying at the end of the day, because without them, I'm not here. Like, and that's all said and done. And the fact that you have these people that'll come and take their open hand, and then while they're not looking, fucking plant a knife in the center of their back. It's unacceptable. I've been very fortunate in that I haven't had dealings knowingly with anybody that does that, and the people that I know have done bad shit to Varian and Rob and all of them, I actively distance myself from.
And you are not Comicsgate, correct, Michael?
I'm on a neutral side of it. I have a lot of Comicsgate support. And I believe in the core tenets that the movement stands in, with making sure that we have good quality books, customer service, and everything like that. There are just a few people in that movement that are a bit more vocal that I do not agree with their lack of professionalism. And
that's important, because I just want to make sure that we're always moving forward as a company, finding these good books, digging them out, pulling somebody up and saying, "Hey, look at this. This is a product worth your money. This is a product worth buying. This is a creator worth getting to know." Whether that's NS, Nick Cagnetti. There are so many people that have come through this show that have become friends of the show. John Celestri.
I just got my package from Demon Bitch today. It's awesome.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I need to get in on
fighting
that.
underground stuff, man. It's incredible.
Right, Christy Shan. I'm just so many people,
Christy
and I've
Shan.
met people through this. I met people through this show and this network that I never thought that I would. That I get a little starstruck. Like, I'm telling you guys, when I had when we had Hart Fisher on, I could have wrapped it up the next day, because I'm like, I talked to Hart Fisher on my show, dude. Where's my Emmy? Where's my Pulitzer? For me, it was just cool getting to talk to Hart.
And Hart's somebody who hasn't been in comics in a long time. He was willing to come out and talk.
Yeah, I just remember him
cool.
really giving Sally S. Raphael the shit, and I love him for that. But
if you've never heard an interview with Hart, I'm sure there's a few up on YouTube. But he used to do some pretty cutting edge books back in the day. Now he's doing the American Horrors channel up on Roku.
I seen that Brian K. Morris said the field is fluid enough that we don't need to be competing for sales or attention. Absolutely. I've been saying for years that we don't need to steal someone else's slice of the pie, because we can grow the overall pie and everyone gets ahead. And I know someone who told me that the table of comicsdom is very small, and when you sit down, somebody has to get up. And I'm not sure that's necessarily true.
Meredith has her hand up. She's out.
That's bent thinking, because I think one of the things that crowdfunding has done is that they brought back a lot of people who stopped buying comics because they weren't happy with the product from the mainstream, didn't realize the quality from the independents. And now some of these mainstream guys have had been forced to go out and become independent, and it's making them look at everybody. So everybody's, if you've noticed, there's a lot more successful crowdfunding both on Indiegogo and on Kickstarter now. The independent market is climbing, and it's climbing almost straight up. And if you don't want to be part of that, you want to keep dragging people down with that, that's your problem. We're all going to just go out there and make great books and do our best to make livings here.
Let's see.
And if you want to be one of those, what Zach calls the 12 wackadoos on Twitter, and deal in and the hate stuff, we don't have to listen to you. We don't have to.
By
have
the way,
you on.
Meredith's been having her hand up for like 10,
sorry,
15
Meredith.
minutes. So
We haven't seen it because it's right in front of your name. You need to raise your hand up higher. You need to get a taller seat or lower your camera just a little bit too.
No, it's
No
all
offense.
good. Professional courtesy
Yeah.
is where it's at. If you're an independent creator, you want to align yourself with as many networks as possible. For me, I work with a network. I work with Geek Insider as well as a few other places. So my reach, you might not see it by my personal social media, but I have a pretty large reach. And you might not know who or where they all are. The point is, the professional courtesy is at the end of the day, when this is all, when this shuts down and we're behind the scenes, I'm going to be asking for names. And I'm going to be asking for names because the professional courtesy. Now, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put them on a blacklist and say, oh, no, they'll never be on a show. Oh, no, they'll never be on IndieVent. Or they'll never do this, or I'll never talk about them, or I'll never write about them. I will not do that because that is professional courtesy. If you have a quality product, that is my job to promote or advocate for. That's my job. Mm-hmm. But I want those names because I don't want to be personally associated with these people. Mm-hmm. There's a difference. I can put aside my personal stuff to promote anybody. As long as they're not pedophiles and rapists, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, that's where my line is drawn. I can promote anybody because that's my job. As a professional, I will do that. Will I connect with you elsewhere? Do I want to have drinks with you sometime? Maybe not. And I don't have to with everybody. And that's why, like I see this drama, it's irrelevant to me. Because I want to know who I want to associate with. I have a circle of people that I connect with because we align on a lot of things. We don't always agree. I keep a lot of people that I disagree with on my social media because I want to hear the other side. I want a debate, but I don't want to be attacked. That's courtesy.
Rob's got his hand up.
Oh, okay, did he? I'm sorry.
No, go Varian. I'll go after you.
Well, I was looking through the comments. Rob wants to know if he's not Rob. Sorry, Larry wants to know if he's been gate kept. I didn't see you had any questions. I'm looking at the YouTube feed or the Facebook feed, and it's laggy. So I'm not sure if I missed one or I'm across the room from my computer, so I'm not.
We've missed a lot of comments tonight, Larry. It's not about you. Believe it or not, we're not here for you tonight. We're here for Varian. So it's nothing against you. We've been slowly dealing with the comments. We've been allowing Varian to pick a few. Randy's picked a few. We've picked the winners that we thought were there. You have a show. You can express your opinions there. Tonight's about Varian. We're here to support.
I want to, if it's related to the situation, I definitely like to hear it. But I didn't see any of them. That's why I'm like, was kind of.
Well, I'm just saying none of us did this.
Granted, Dinosaur, he brought up a point though, and I want to touch back on that one about, a lot of you guys, Larry. I know Larry's done it too, but everybody gives everybody advice in this industry. Mm-hmm. We all give each other advice. Now, imagine you can't give Larry or you can't give Anthony or Rob or myself any advice, because we belong to a different group. So I can't call you and say, hey, I noticed that you do this thing on your pages, or I heard that you had a good deal on Prince. I can't reach out to you now because you're a part of some other circle. I think that's a lot of BS, and that definitely needs to stop. We're going to destroy this industry, the camaraderie that we have in this industry, because a couple of people want to be they think that if they destroy enough people, they can climb on top of the rubble and be king.
Or do they want to destroy the industry?
They might want to
get rid of.
Yeah. Well, I think Rob was right when he says
what's going on at DC and Marvel right now. Those people ain't listening either.
Well, Rob mentioned, he said that people want to destroy things because they're looking. I think it was Robbie said they're looking at that tier and they're saying, "Hey, if I take this person out,
I get their spot."
yeah,
Like it's a level up game. And honestly, to Meredith's point, I respect the fact that you're giving people respect, but respect also has to be earned. And there's going to be a moment where we're just going to start fucking calling you all out to start proving a point. We're going to let people know the truth about you. We're going to show screenshots about you. And you're going to be the person that becomes the example, because this has to stop. I don't care who you like or dislike. Be a professional. That's all we ask in this industry. Be professional. You don't got to work together, but guess what? You got to be in the same exact ocean of comics that we're all in. We're going to step on each other's toes at times. You can dislike people. You don't have to be friends with everyone on Facebook. But if you can't see the value in what Varian's doing, you don't belong in this industry. It is that simple. There is no other answer.
well,
You cannot see the value of what Indie Vault has brought you all. You do not belong in this industry.
and not just and not just me. Like, I mean, because I feel bad saying, it's about me, but at the same time, like, how long before it does happen to Rob, or it does happen to Meredith, or it does happen to anybody
to
else,
Brian or to Pops or who knows
right,
what. Yeah.
right. Before someone says, "Hey, you had this person on your show," now Pops will be the quickest to tell you, "Hey, I don't give a shit," yeah. But how long before they start targeting Brian and others? There are others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we come across a new show every week. I don't, dislike them.
I just want to make a brief point. So there are two outspoken CG members here.
Mhm.
Neither one of us have ever asked. Well, I've only been for a week, but none. I know that Eric's never asked you to ever be exclusive CG or to not have SJWs on, or not have someone that's has a different viewpoint. In fact, it's your open forum that got me a chance to meet Anthony Figueroa, who actually is the one who talked me into being CG.
And when we first met Anthony, he wasn't CG.
No.
See, and that's the thing. If someone has a good comic book, I don't care who they vote for. My policy is I don't care who or what is between your legs. If you make a good comic book, I'm all for it. As long as you're not, sitting there trying to tell me, and if I decide that I don't like it, then maybe it's not for me, or maybe you just need to try harder. It's not because somehow I'm some evil person. It's just not for me. I just don't care for it. And it's okay. I make a book, and if you don't like it, it's okay. It's just not for you. It doesn't have to be for you. Mm-hmm. But I want to try to find the audience that it is for. And a show like yours, a show like Rob's, a show like Pops and like Mike and like Brian K. Morris, they give you an opportunity to put your stuff out there to see if their audience likes it. Without anything like, hey, it's this or that. But because the industry has kind of forced out the Comicsgate people, it has forced a lot of Comicsgaters to create their own podcasts like this and YouTube shows and all that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot of those because there wasn't an audience for them. But you guys create an audience for everybody, and that's almost threatening to people, I think. But I like it, and all the people that I'm associating with tend to like that kind of thing. And just because you get your feelings hurt because someone didn't like it, or someone didn't cater to your ideas or your thoughts, we don't all have to think like you. We don't all have to behave like you. It would be a really boring place if we all walked around just mindlessly droning on the exact same thoughts and talking points. We don't have to do that. And it's okay to disagree. And it's okay that if I like a book and you like a book and we voted differently in 2016 and we still like the book, that's okay too.
I something you said there. Remember when you used to be able to decide as a reader if a book wasn't for you? Now you have the creators telling you this wasn't for you. Well,
one of the things that initially, got me into the whole Comicsgate sphere. I mean, I started watching Zach when he was first posting videos, and it was terrific because finally someone was calling out this low quality tier stuff where they were just taking characters and just running them through the mud and just doing, it just wasn't honoring to the character. And that's one of the things that kind of brought me in and, got me the idea to just go ahead and join up with them. And seeing some of the stuff, and I hope it's still true now, but I know there was a lot of people who left Comicsgate because they felt like the comics they wanted to make weren't being accepted by the group. And you look at something like Mike Miller's MAGA 7. I love that book. I can't wait to read that book. It looks like a lot of fun. But I would think now CG is those books would be fine as part of CG. I think it's just a big miscommunication. But the thing is like, and this is where I fall out. This is like my line in the sand. Make whatever kind of comic you want and find your audience, and no one should tell you any different.
Exactly.
CG is such a fuzzy definition as to who is and who isn't. It just basically comes down to a consumer movement of just wanting to do good comics. But I just completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
But no, you're absolutely right. That's what it is. It's just a movement. It's not like we have meetings and we're organized. It's like, oh well, I was at the CG meeting last week, and so this is what we're doing this week, guys. It's not like that. We're the only organization that group has is, hey, did you see this book? It fits the values that we have, and it's really good. You should check it out. That is the extent. And really, to be honest with you, even as a now a CG creator, I still have to sell to these people. I can't just say, hey, I'm Comicsgate, and they buy the book. And Michael has a Comicsgate audience as well, and he can't just say, hey, I'm Comicsgate friendly, buy my book, and they do it. No, you have to tell them what the story's about. You have to show that the art is there, and the first thing that you have to do is show that you can not only have the work done but also deliver to the consumer. If you can't do that, you will never make a second book.
And that was something that I worked very hard to and every single person here works very hard to fulfill is and that's what the core thing of I think indie comics is hard work, making as quality of a book as you can and making sure that you get it to a consumer in a way that not only you can be proud of but they can enjoy. And I went so far as to drive books to people that ordered locally. That we got pictures up on social media of me showing up at people's houses with their book and handing them off, because that's how much this means to me. And I think that those kinds of values should be shared throughout, especially the indie community, because that's how indie is going to overtake the main line. Is because at the end of the day, we give a shit, and they've got contracts.
A couple years ago, when a lot of this stuff started happening, there was a young lady. She's no longer on Twitter, but she was from Brooklyn, and I had a crush on her too. I wasn't married yet, so the crush was totally legitimate. But I was engaged, not married. But she said, I don't understand. She was a writer, and she was looking to get into comics, indie comics. And she says, I don't understand these indie creators taking a side. These professional artists and writers couldn't give less of a damn about you, in your opinion. And there you are cutting yourself off at the knees before you even get in the industry by taking a stance on matters that are happening in the professional area. So it's like it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but it's like the farm league is worried about what the major league team is doing. It's like what and then let's get involved in that too. But I think that for CG, you see some people, in CG make mainstream money, which is
it's unheard of in history of comics.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, though. When they say that they don't care about what you think, that's what caused Comicsgate to start. Like that was the whole thing. You don't care. See, as a creator, I care deeply what the fans want. If they tell me, hey, and I've gotten some feedback even from some of you, like he's like, hey, that first arc, I would have liked to see this. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you plenty of that in the next one. Trust me, because you spoke, I listened.
And that goes a long way too. Speaking of taking criticism in a professional manner and applying it to your product. most of the people here have, at the very least, received a digital copy of my book. Meredith, your book's in the second wave, and I'm like, once I get the rest of this print that has like the floppies and the black and white cuts, and I can get
I don't want to hear the excuses. Odin.
okay. All I'm saying.
Get in the car, Odin, and drive her.
Oh God. No, not right now. But point is that most of the people here have seen my book, and I have gotten notes from most of you guys, and I've taken them and have already applied them to the next one. You know, Eric had some notes about the credits pages could have looked a bit more professional, so I hired a graphic designer. You know, Varian said that he felt that it was too short. Next book's 54 pages. Like every single thing that I have gotten, I've listened to and applied. We had some people that weren't big into mythology and they were confused. We're adding a character glossary to make sure that nobody feels lost, and so that they understand who these people are, what stories they come from, and understand a little bit of their motivations within the confines of our book. Like, customer feedback is how we grow, and the fact that the main line is completely ignored that is atrocious. And you know what, it's to our benefit, because as it was mentioned, the indie scene is starting to make mainline money, and that's and I feel that most indie creators that have done a campaign here in the past few months have noticed that they're making more money than they ever have before, and there's a reason for that. There was a content vacuum. Diamond Distribution screwed over the main line, but it was the biggest favor that could have been done for the indie community, because it got people to look at indie books more seriously. And then on top of that, to notice that a lot of these indie titles are better than the stuff that they're reading in the main line, and it's cheaper and more cost efficient to go indie when you're paying for like 2-3 books a year than having to do a pull list every week, and you still get that same quality content, except it's better because these people give a shit.
For our radio listeners, we're now joined with along with JD Calderon, all the way from Brooklyn. I'm glad you caught your train. We've
What's
been
up,
talking
JD?
for so long that you're able to get home and get on, huh?
Hey.
Yep. I was able to get in. How you doing, guys? What did I miss? What did I miss? I heard a lot of anger, and I said, "There's anger involved. I have to come in."
There was an epic showdown, and there was chairs and tables, and we're all good now.
Yeah, Rob's about to go beat some
It's
people
all
up.
calmed
It's
down.
all
Yeah.
Prayers are up.
There were 10 people in the room. Notice they're not anymore.
Varian, what's our radio number?
Radio number right now is 75600.
75600.
Wow. You know, talk to.
I have an important question. Who can read in a Morgan Freeman voice? Who's got the best Morgan Freeman? 'Cause I got something from Randy Zimmer. I can give it a try if no one else has got it.
Gosh.
I got
Go for it.
that can really do tonight. And this is really it. This one's for you, Varian.
Okay.
I found that the key to happiness is to stay away from idiots.
It's that's pretty much true. I mean, I just want to promote everybody's stuff. I don't care where you're from. I don't care, who you are. You can be a part of the Whisper Network. You could be, believe it or not. I mean, we've had war campaigners on here. You guys know that?
Hokey smokes.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna put them under the bus. I'm not sure if they're war campaign anymore. But
Don't throw them under the bus.
yeah, we've had war campaigners on here, and
I dare you to invite Doug to Naples.
Doug has had Doug actually commented on one of our videos. We did an unboxing of the Bigfoot Bill.
Unboxing of Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, from Jim. Yeah, and he commented on the video. He called us pros, and
I wouldn't be against having Doug TeNapel on.
yeah, I can't. I look. The man called me a professional. If I deny that, then I deny what he said about me. and I like titles. So
I think Doug's I think Doug Tenaple's a perfectly wonderful individual. I've had a chance to spend some time with him. Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's an inspiration creatively and as far as life goes.
Yeah, I do want to echo.
I used to watch the Earthworm Jim show growing up, and I freaking loved that.
Yeah, and the video games and all that. Now, I do want to echo on what Michael said earlier about how people are finding that indie comics are better. Here's something that happened at kind of the beginning of some of this. Everyone rushing the grocery stores and taking things, right? I loved to cook up some smoked sausage, and I went to the store, and my brand has always been Roger Wood, the lumberjack stuff, right? Well, I went to the store and all of that stuff was gone. So apparently everybody thought the same thing. Hey, you know what? We're going to be locked in for a couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and go grab some smoked sausage and make some sausage and all that kind of stuff. Well, all that was left was this Georgia Boy stuff down at the bottom. It was cheaper. And I was like, oh, great. That's all that's left. So I grabbed that Georgia Boy and I take it home. And you know what? Georgia Boy was better than Roger Wood lumberjack stuff. It was way better. And so I went back to the store and I started buying that the Georgia Boy stuff. But you know what the weird thing is now? All you can find on the shelf is Roger Wood, and all of the Georgia Boy stuff is gone because the consumer got a chance to taste the Georgia Boy stuff, and they realized Georgia Boy is cheaper and it's better, and I want it more. And that's what's happening with mainstream comics. People are realizing when pencils went down and they couldn't get it, they said, you know what? I need my comics fixed. I need something to read. And they went and they got those independent comics, and they realized that what they've been being fed was it wasn't bad, but it was an inferior product to the stuff they thought was the trash. And now once they got a taste for the indie stuff, it's, they're leaving those other things on the shelf. They're leaving the Roger Wood on the shelf, and they are now eating the Georgia Boy.
And again, I think a lot of the independent market's upswing isn't because of the people are running from Marvel and DC. I think that's already happened. If you look at their numbers are way in the DC just cut pretty much every book that wasn't making them money, and that was a lot of their line. So
they had
the people that are the people that are coming that are into crowdfunding or coming into crowdfunding, majority of those people are the people that left back in 2000, 1990, all the way up until now, that are coming back now because they want to read comics. They just want to read quality stuff and be entertained. And here's a crowdfunding campaign. The guy selling a big book for $25 I can get in the mail. Oh, cool. I don't have to go down and deal with the retailer, or I don't have to do this or that, or I remember that guy back when I was the old Image dudes like Art Thibert and Dan Fraga. All have audiences that have been virtually untapped, and a lot of these larger companies have just totally ignored them for the last few years. Now they got a crowdfunding. The guys are going, I remember that book. I'm buying it.
Yeah, Black Flag. Can't wait for it to come in the mail.
There's another thing that's happening too. The fans now can interact with the creators because the creators it's an open door. If I wanted to, reach out to one of these other guys, they might comment on my post. They might not. They might respond to my message. They might not. Most of the mainstream guys that I have contacted to either, see if I could, get some kind of a commission or something like that, none of those guys have ever responded to me. But in the independent field, that part of the industry, I message these people. Sometimes it's within minutes that these guys get back to me. And I'm a fan of independent comics because I'm a fan of the creators as well. They make something I like, but they're also accessible. So I can always ask questions. I can get the feedback from them. And I think fans like that because even though I'm a creator, I'm still a fan. And I still fall in the same camp with all of those other people that don't draw and don't write.
For our radio listening audience and Varian, who's probably still away from the computer, we're now joined by Mindy Wheeler, who just came off of an incredible panel with Pops featuring all female creators. That was just amazing. I can't wait to get back to it.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming on.
Going pretty good, guys. I heard the conversation that was happening very briefly. I just stumbled upon this on Facebook, and I was like, I got to get in here. Because do you guys know about Indie Crowdfund? It's what my husband and I are building. Mm-hmm. It's an alternative crowdfunding platform to Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
You go. I was just saying the other day that somebody was going to do that.
So tell us how that's going along. How's it coming?
How is it working?
Oh my God, it's so hot. I can hardly keep up with the demand. And we just started it about 3 weeks ago. And I'm serious. Like, everybody is excited about it, and it's almost too much excitement where I have to tell people to like slow down, calm down. We have to we have to develop it first, but it's at the point where it would be launching in about 2 to 3 weeks from now.
Good for
And
you.
the cool thing though is that not only is it specifically tailored for comic books, so we're acquiring fulfillment partners like mailers and shippers and 3PO that are comic specific, which is nice for you guys. But it's a 3% platform fee as opposed to 5%, and it has a retailer connection. So there are comic shops involved that can also back the books and buy the books.
Which is
So it's cool. Yeah, it's because they've been left out. Like, as much as I think crowdfunding has been super awesome, you can't just forget about the comic shops. There's so many good people running those shops. They're small business owners. They love books too. You know, they want good books too, and it's not their fault that Marvel and DC have been putting out crap.
Yeah.
That sales pitch was hot.
And
Thanks.
you come from a
Yeah,
retailer perspective also.
I do. I was a retailer, and I was super about the indies. This was way before crowdfunding, way before Comicsgate in 2015-16, and I immediately found out that indies were the way to go because we opened our store right on the backbone of DC Rebirth, and there was a huge thing about that. Jim Lee actually offered, as it was releasing, for people to be able to return the books if they didn't sell, and we returned about 50% of the books because they didn't sell. People were unhappy, and we saw that consistently. We had one guy had like 50 especially Marvel titles, but Marvel and DC titles on his pull box come in 1 week, canceled all of them. And we have to order 2 months in advance as a retailer, so we got hit with that bill regardless of whether or not he picked up the books. So, I mean, there are people out there, especially with COVID, these shops that have been struggling, that really actually want to deliver those books to you and support indie creators, but there has not been a connection yet. So with this platform, like I'm buddies with a few comic shops, you know, that have been selling my art prints and that I do all kinds of things with, and they're all over it. And we've expanded that list now to about 350 shops that we're kind of like back and forth on. That that have been pre-screened.
Good for you.
And be friendly. Thanks.
Awesome.
And these retailers want the books, like they want them yesterday. So, and if these creators are really serious about their books and they crowdfund and they actually really want to be the next like Donnie Cates or Jim Lee or somebody, I mean, this is the way to do it. Think about Brian Pulido. He does crowdfunding, but he also has his books in the stores, and he has such a wide audience as he does both. I mean, these comic shops bring in tens of thousands of people, tens of thousands of books are sold monthly. So, I mean, this is an opportunity, I think, that benefits everybody and kind of like helps save the comic industry from these crappy books like that have been put out with all these political agendas that everybody's tired of.
That's incredibly exciting. Mindy, we're going to have you back on Indie Volt very, very soon to talk about this. That's really fascinating.
Have you been in contact with Bleeding Cool or Bounding into Comics and getting this out there?
I haven't yet. And I've been presented the idea. You know, people said, "Oh, you should write press releases," and I understand the need. But we're getting so much excitement on just the ground floor level. I'm going to hold back and wait until everything's super ready to go, super functional, until we do those press releases. Because
we definitely need to get you hooked up with Pixel Trader so we can get IndieCron looped in. Because what IndieCron does is they track crowdfunding campaigns, so it's a good place to go and find out about campaigns. So we definitely need to get you guys linked in together.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Eric. Varian, we are getting really close to that 2-hour mark. Do we want to cut it, or do we care?
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, because this one was a town hall meeting and discussing, just what's going on with the divisiveness that we're facing. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah. You're a little echoey, but you're fine.
Okay, because I tried to adjust so I can see the screen, but that didn't work. So,
can you see our radio numbers at all?
I can see that from my phone. We're at 76-212. So
cool.
I did want to say though, that's someone else who has dealt with things. Now, Pixel kind of got it, from what I understand. He gets it from both angles with his IndieCron. People don't want to be listed on IndieCron because he's got CG books on there, and people don't want to. And then so there's actually they don't want to be on there. And then there were CGers that were he said they were upset for a while because it just wasn't just CG books. And so Pixel dealt with it. I know Rob has dealt with it. I'm not sure, Meredith, have you dealt with anything? Has anybody came at you guys for over Geek Insider about covering a book and saying, well, you guys covered this person who I don't necessarily like, so basically that's admission that you are?
No, I haven't gotten anything like that. And if I did, again, I'm probably indifferent. I'm like, oh, my bad.
What the hell? Can somebody send Meredith some hate mail?
Who? What?
Can somebody send Meredith some hate mail? Is it that hard?
I'll write
Meredith's too
a
nice.
satirical one.
I'm kind of in the
Just
middle.
send
I
it
get hate from CG because I'm critical of them, but I also get hate from the leftists. So I'm in the middle for sure. I'm of the opinion that CG is a group, not an individual. I mean, It's kind of like, because an idea isn't a group. Like, if you were to make McDonald's gate of someone that liked fries, liked hamburgers, liked Happy Meals, kind of like how people don't want politics, just want great stories, yada, yada, and you group that into something and call it McDonald's gate, it's actually a classification of a group of people with similar ideas. So to me, it makes no sense to call it just an idea. Comicsgate, I have a problem with it. I think it absolves people of personal responsibility, which people do need to be accountable for. But I do agree that good books are needed, for sure. Good books are needed, and I hope that we can get past all the whole Comicsgate, not Comicsgate, whatever thing. Because now at this point, it's just like another political identity of do you identify with this or do you not identify with this, and just all come together with the love of great books.
It would be nice to get rid of all the labels.
Yeah. Why
Just do good comics?
Yes, that's really all we really need to do. And it's always mystified me as to why this is the only country in the planet where we're stuck with two major corporations that run the comic book industry. If you go to Japan, it's all run by creators. I mean, they have their companies that run the books, but they will create their own books. Same thing with France, same thing, in Korea and many other countries. But this is the only country where we have comic books, and it's only coming out of two places, and everybody looks at those two places feverishly for these books. And a lot of it, you hit or miss. You have some good books, but you have a lot of bad ones.
There's a long and big explanation for that, JD, and it's probably longer than what we have here for the show.
This is true.
I don't want to be. I like that middle ground that we stay in here with Indie Vault, despite what I may feel personally either way. Again, when you start a media outlet, I was told, you need to be neutral, and that's why I try to keep everything neutral. Now, we have a show right now. We've got two comics gators, Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong, you were at one point comics gate, right?
Yes, I joined the idea, but then I got trolled out of the idea because I didn't agree with everything that everybody wanted to agree.
Right, but these people are all in the room and they're not killing each other.
Yeah, it's hard when you have something that, because not everybody in CG is bad, right? Not everybody in CG is a troll, for sure. Everybody are drawn to the idea because of the ideas that it has, that you want good books. And that's a perfectly logical idea. But you do have some individuals that do troll and abuse the movement, just like any other movement, just like Black Lives Matter, just like Antifa. So to me, it's no different than that in the end. And that's sad. I thought it was more of a community thing, but unfortunately those bad people bring it down for the rest of them. And that's why I said, I got to separate from this, because I didn't want to be a part of something that supported those people. And the whole Comicsgate as an idea enables bad behavior for those people. But I don't think everybody in CG is bad. I think that, I do think though that labels just really create create more divisiveness. If we all just said, oh, we all just want good books, instead of you're comic skater, I'm not comic skater, you're anti-CG, then we wouldn't have these problems. You know, if we all band together, we'd have less problems instead of worrying about the political identity bubble of comic skate, you know? So that's my 2 thoughts.
There are people though who desperately don't they don't want me to live, yo. That's what it is. They hate that I'm out here living my best life.
Well, you're gonna have to get into your marriage problems at another show.
I do want to, you know, again, I mean, everybody on this show right now has been on Indie Vault one way or another, and I want to thank you guys for being on, helping the network grow, helping. I mean, you know, from Indie Vault Radio to Indie Vault TV, IndieVault.com, that we've been able to grow this, and you know, some exciting things coming down the pipeline that, you know, I'm really excited about. You know, I can't wait to be able to, you know, show them to you guys, because one of the things that I learned from being a publisher was never to show or never to talk about what you got coming until you can either show a prototype or have it in your hand.
Yep.
And so I like doing that now. So we got some exciting things coming, and I want you guys to all, you know, and you're always welcome to come back. We tell everybody that you're welcome to come back. You're always welcome to come on the show whenever you like, no matter what side. Even if you're, you know, even if the world changes and Mindy's back to being CG next week, and Eric decides that he's now a left-leaning super liberal,
or if by some unbelievable chance all the labels dissolve.
Yeah,
That would be
nice.
yeah,
Be nice.
yeah,
There
yeah.
we go.
You guys will all be welcome to come back on the show, because we don't have. There's no you can't come back on this show because of this label that you have. Now, we have banned a couple of assholes.
We've learned
Yeah.
as we go along. Yeah.
But you know, no one.
It's usually for other. Mostly for other reasons.
Right.
You start threatening violence, or you say things that you're not supposed
Yeah,
to
some
say.
people are just plain crazy.
Just-
and
or,
you just
or
need
you're
to get
just
rid of
plain
them.
crazy. You just don't need to come back on here.
Yeah. I will let Randy end the show, though. You guys, you're more than you know, more than able to stay backstage. We can talk after the show, but I know we want to get out of here, and I know some people may have things to do in the morning. But I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank everybody listening on Indie Vault Radio right now. I can't pull the numbers up because the app crashed, but it was pretty high.
It crashed.
Yeah, the app crashed out on the phone.
You know what that means? Over 100.
No,
No, not really. Not really. That would mean Varian would have to pay more for bandwidth. That's why.
Yeah.
I said that.
If guys, you can find me at KYD_V on Twitter, Varian Ground on Facebook, and you know, IndieVault.com. Look that up look up Indie Vault on Facebook. Last Call Comics. You can look that up too. You'll find me. I'm all around. I go around and everybody can tell the listeners where they can find you at.
Let's start with Mindy.
Okay, well, I'm pretty easy / Mindy Wheeler Art on everything, pretty much Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And I mean, I'm an artist. I work for Dynamite, Zenscope, IDW, Rothic, and stuff. Check out my stuff. And then Indie Crowdfund is facebook.com / Indie Crowdfund Inc. And there's a bunch of videos there actually from comic shops, fans, and creators that you can check it out and see what they have to say. So thanks so much for having me.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
man.
coming on. JD.
Hey, so you can find me on Facebook under JD
Make it
Calderon.
fast. Yeah.
And you can also find me under the OswaldChronicles.com, and you can find me under JD Calderon on YouTube, and where I interview independent publishers.
Awesome.
JD, did you know that Miami, Florida is a 6th borough?
Yeah, I didn't know, but it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, that's how you know. But
Yeah.
Michael Oden.
Oh goodness, you can find me on Facebook under Michael Oden, or you can find Nine Realms Publishing on Facebook as well, and then you can follow us on Twitter at Elysian Fields _0, and stay tuned because we've got the launch of the Pyramid Gambit coming up here soon.
Awesome. Meredith.
Hey guys, I am Meredith Lochran. Right now, I'm really pushing hard for indievent.com. I have the URL here. Make sure that you follow that. Follow the instructions if you want to be part of it. We have an exciting sellers component. Otherwise, you can find me on geekinsider.com. But really, IndieVent. Keep it in your mind.
Great.
Put it on
Luke?
your calendar.
Yeah, hey, my name's Luke Stone. I am the writer and artist of a book called Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. And we're getting ready to release our trade paperback tomorrow. It goes live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So you can find out information and sign up for that so you can get some special perks at Luke Stone Studios with an S on the end.com. Sign up for that. And we're doing some, we are shipping that worldwide, and we're offering some extra special things to throw into all of our international backers packages so that we can make up for the higher shipping cost that we have to go by with the current situation. So make sure to go to lukestonestudios.com to learn out more about that, and then also go by terraformcomics.com, sign up for the mailing list, where we will be showing you great comics, and it doesn't matter if they are SJW, if they're Comicsgate, or anything in between. We just want to make good comics.
Awesome. Rob? Rob?
Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the devilish comics creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales. He creates books about fetish, monsters, and more, and offers free spanks and hugs. He also teaches morals with farts. Check out the Comics Devil by going to MrAnderson.com.
Eric.
Top that, Eric.
Yeah, top that, me. Well, I'm at Dreaded Dinosaur on all the social medias. This is my character, Dreaded Dinosaur Man over here. You can read him on Webtoon for free. Got a book that I'm trying to launch here in the fall. I got a story series with Terraform Comics that will be launching soon after that. Lots of stuff going on with that character. I just wrapped up Roddy Piper, the Kilted Avenger. You'll be able to order that on Pro Wrestling Tees hopefully soon. We're trying to go to the printer right now. The one thing that I would really like for you to do is go to erichodson.com up here. Order some anime, some wrestling art, some comic art from me. Help me pay my rent.
There you go.
I got you, Eric.
And hey, I guess that's me. I'm Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter under Randy Zim. I don't tweet very often, but under Twitter, I'm Randy Zim. I have a channel here on YouTube called the Zim Geek channel that I'm actually starting to put new material back up on. I just put up a video today on how to draw Felix the cat. Every other video is a cartooning instructional on just how easy it is to draw, and then every other one is about comic commentary. So then I'm here on the Indie Vault podcast Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. and Thursday morning for the Breakfast Buzz at 9 a.m. So you can find me there. Varian?
Yeah, that's it for me. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow, normal time, at 9 with some guests. We'll talk more about comics from all over. And that's pretty much it. Everyone have a great night. Try to remember.
Did JD and Michael get to say?
Oh, did they? Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. They
All right,
spoke
sorry.
before you did.
I did a thing.
I was paying attention.
I wasn't. I was eating goldfish.
And I said she was nice.
We're going to be back here again tomorrow night. We're not sure exactly who's on, maybe some of these guys, but we'll have your typical nitwittery and answering a lot of great questions. And anytime you want to send us a question or a comment about comics, indie comics, mainstream comics, the genre media or anything like that, feel free to send that to us, care of Indie Vault Live at indievault.com. Please include Indie Vault Live in the subject so that we know that it's a question or a complaint or whatever, and we'll usually air it on the air. Please keep those emails to 90 words or less so that Varian is able to post those on a card. So, and remember, don't be afraid to send us in. No matter how serious or silly the question is, we would love to talk to you about it and give feedback on it, because we're here to educate people. And remember, our feedback will be better because of your setback. Hashtag get an education. Hashtag IndieVolt. Also, we're available on Roku, the IndieVolt channel on Roku. Lots of movies, some wrestling, and some of these silly podcasts as well. Right?
Yep.
And you can always find us at indievolt.com. If you're not listening to us now, you can ask Alexa. She'll turn over there. We also have the Streama app, and you can find us in the Google Play Store.
All over.
Is that anything else we need to add?
No, that's it. We're just spreading like herpes. That's it.
Okay, awesome. Well, before we go, we want to remind everybody of that great quote by Jack Kirby. Kid, comics will break your heart. We love them anyway. We hope everybody takes care. Everybody stay healthy. Please stay healthy. And we'll see everybody real soon. Let's be nice to each other, or at least nicer to each other. That might be a great and an easy way to start, he said as he's stalling, looking for the ending. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That was almost the opening.
Be a better person tomorrow than you were today.
Try to be your best. Take care, everybody. Stay healthy. Thanks a lot for being here.